The distress call arrived on all known human frequencies, a desperate plea from the Vra'thari, a species once known for their wisdom and peaceful existence. Their population had dwindled to less than a tenth of what it once was, a mysterious genetic disorder ravaging their kind. Their government was in ruins, their fleets rusting in orbit. They came to Earth not as conquerors but as beggars. In exchange for a cure, they promised what no species had ever dared to share: quantum phase technology. It was an evolutionary leap, a gift that could make Earth a superpower overnight. No more fuel constraints, no more energy crises. Humanity could travel the stars like the ancients once dreamed. The deal was too good to refuse. Doctors, geneticists, and AI-assisted research teams worked tirelessly to crack the Vra'thari genome. What they found was astonishing. The disorder wasn't natural. It was an engineered flaw, a genetic self-destruct built into their DNA, ensuring they remained docile, compliant, a non-threatening species in a galaxy governed by older, more aggressive empires. Someone had done this to them long ago, and so humanity fixed them. The cure was elegant, precise, and absolute. It restored the Vra'thari to what they were meant to be before they had been shackled. The first sign that something had changed came within weeks. Vra'thari children, once timid and soft-spoken, became restless, fearless. Their elders, previously hesitant to command, began making demands. Their scientists, previously content to collaborate, started hoarding knowledge. By the time the first Vra'thari warship was fully operational again, rumors were already spreading. This was not the same species that had come to Earth pleading for survival. Then came the first attack. Not against Earth, but against the Ethon Dominion, the galactic superpower that had once ruled them in silence. Vra'thari ships descended on the Dominion's outer colonies, burning them to ash. There was no negotiation, no warning, just the relentless advance of a people who had remembered what they were. The Dominion screamed for intervention, but it was already too late. The Vra'thari had adapted. They didn't just survive, they thrived. Their technology, once given freely to humanity, had been improved upon, weaponized. Their soldiers were fearless, cunning, and, most disturbingly, driven. Galactic councils met in secret, debating Earth's responsibility. The Dominion accused humanity of unleashing a wildfire upon the stars. Others feared that the Vra'thari were only the beginning. If humans could elevate one species to this level, what else were they capable of? Then the ultimatum came. The Dominion, alongside the Arkiri Consortium and the Thulian Pact, demanded that humanity correct their mistake. The Vra'thari must be stopped, their aggression neutralized, or the entire galaxy would see Earth as an accomplice to their destruction. But the Vra'thari had anticipated this. Before Earth could decide, they sent a delegation, their leaders standing taller, more confident than before. "We do not seek to harm humanity," their prime speaker said, "but we will not be slaves again. Stand with us and we will reshape the galaxy together. Stand against us and you will burn with the others." The choice had never been so clear or so dangerous. Earth's leaders convened in the UN Orbital Assembly, a station floating just beyond Luna's orbit. Every nation-state, every corporate interest, every scientific body with a stake in the stars had sent representatives. The debate was already heated when Admiral Elias Kane, Supreme Commander of the United Terran Fleet, stood. "This is an extinction-level crisis," he said, his voice carrying the weight of authority. "We created a monster whether we meant to or not. The Vra'thari were shackled for a reason. Do we really believe the galaxy's empires were wrong to keep them contained? We have two options. Fight them now or prepare to kneel." The room erupted in arguments. They were enslaved, countered Dr. Amelia Voss, the lead geneticist responsible for the cure. They weren't kept in check. They were broken deliberately. "We did what was right, what any species would hope for if they were dying. And now we abandon them? No, that's not who we are. It doesn't matter what we meant to do," President Unipark of the Terran Union said, pinching the bridge of her nose. What matters is what we do next. The debate went on for hours. Military strategists weighed the risks of war. Intelligence officers revealed intercepted transmissions, entire Ethon worlds reduced to barren rock, their infrastructure repurposed. The Vra'thari weren't just fighting back. They were expanding. And then came the final transmission. A distress call from Gliese 412c, a human colony in neutral space. The Vra'thari had arrived. No warning. No negotiations. The colony's last message was chaos, screams, laser fire, ships descending from orbit. They turned on us? Admiral Kane asked, his voice low. President Park exhaled slowly. No, she said, playing the final line of the transmission. A single voice, desperate, defiant. They're not here to kill us. They're recruiting. The room fell silent. Humanity wasn't just facing a war. The Vra'thari wanted them. They weren't looking to destroy Earth. They were looking for allies. The choice had just become more complicated. Aboard the Aegis Dawn, a Vra'thari battlecruiser, Prime Speaker Chorus watched the Human Council's deliberations through a hidden surveillance link. Their technology was primitive, but their spirit was unmatched. They had defied a galactic order that had stood for millennia. In the end, Chorus believed, they would not let fear dictate their future. They are at a crossroads, General Tovin said, standing beside him. If they refuse, they become our enemies. Chorus smiled, the sharp edges of his newly restored canines glinting in the dim light. No, General. If they refuse, they remain who they have always been, reactive, cautious. But if they accept, they will become something greater. He turned toward the observation window, watching the stars streak past. The galaxy called them a wildfire. I say we give them the chance to burn. On Earth, the UN Council faced the hardest decision in human history. War or alliance. A fight for survival or the dawn of a new galactic order. The emergency vote was cast. The results were displayed in real time across the UN Orbital Assembly. A simple but monumental verdict. 58% for alliance. 42% for war. The decision was made, humanity would stand with the Vra'thari. The room was silent as the weight of the choice settled on every delegate. They had just defied every major power in the galaxy. President Unipark turned to Admiral Elias Kane. Prepare a diplomatic envoy. And prepare our fleets. Admiral Kane narrowed his eyes. You still think they'll turn on us? I think we just declared war on the entire galactic order, she said. And I don't plan to go into this blind. 3 days later, the Terran envoy arrived at Vexhul, the Vra'thari war capital. Once a desolate colony world, now a fully armed fortress, a symbol of their resurgence. Prime Speaker Chorus met the human delegation in person, standing taller than before, his posture exuding a confidence no Vra'thari had shown before their genetic shackles had been removed. You have made the right choice, he said. We welcome you not as servants, but as equals. Dr. Amelia Voss stepped forward, curiosity in her eyes. Why did you attack Gliese 412c? If you wanted an alliance, why make us doubt you? Chorus smiled. We did not attack. We liberated. He gestured to a side door and it slid open. A group of humans stepped through, former colonists of Gliese 412c. But something was different. They stood taller, prouder. Their expressions held the same intensity as the Vra'thari warriors. One of them stepped forward, a woman in Terran mining fatigues, now wearing a Vra'thari officer's cloak. I volunteered, she said. Dr. Voss's breath caught. Samantha? Samantha Reyes had been a logistics officer at the colony. Now she looked transformed, her presence radiating something new. The Vra'thari didn't just change themselves, Samantha said. They gave us the cure too. The delegation froze. Prime Speaker Chorus nodded. Our survival is not enough. We need warriors, visionaries. The galaxy fears us because we are awake. We offer your people the same gift. Dr. Voss whispered, no. Admiral Kane's hand went to his sidearm. President Park took a breath. You're changing humans? without our knowledge. Chorus raised a brow. Would you rather remain asleep? The Dominion fears you for your adaptability, your ingenuity. Now imagine yourselves without limits. Samantha smiled. I see it now. I understand what we were meant to be. Kane's voice was a low growl. You didn't ask permission. Chorus stepped closer. Neither did you when you changed us. The air was thick with tension. President Park steadied herself. This is not what we agreed to. Chorus tilted his head. Then tell me, is it what you fear? Silence. Because deep down, humanity had always been afraid of what it could become. And now, that choice was no longer theirs to make. President Park's breath was steady, but inside, her mind raced. This was no longer just an alliance. It was an evolution, a shift in the very nature of what it meant to be human. Admiral Kane's grip on his weapon tightened. We agreed to fight with you. We didn't agree to let you experiment on our people. Prime Speaker Chorus regarded him with an almost amused expression. And yet you did it to us. Without our consent, without hesitation. You saw a species on the verge of extinction, and you made us whole. Now we return the favor. Dr. Amelia Voss stepped forward, her voice firm. But this isn't the same. We corrected a flaw. We restored what was lost. You're altering humans, changing what they are at a fundamental level. Samantha Reyes, the former logistics officer, looked at her old comrades with a knowing smile. You think you're whole? You think you're at your peak? She shook her head. I didn't understand either. Not at first. But the moment it happened, I saw everything differently. The hesitation, the doubt, the uncertainty, all of it gone. I see the path now. And you will too. Admiral Kane took a slow step forward, his voice ironclad. I don't need to see anything except one thing, whether you're still human. Samantha turned to him, studying him with something between pity and anticipation. That's your fear talking. You always believed humanity was meant for more. You thought the Dominion kept us contained out of fear of what we could accomplish. Now you know the truth. We weren't just feared. She took a step closer. We were limited. A shiver ran through the human delegation. President Park exhaled. You're creating something new. We are becoming something new, Chorus corrected. And we offer you the same chance. Imagine a humanity that no longer second-guesses, that no longer hesitates at the precipice of greatness. A species that does not fracture and argue, but moves as one. This is not war, President Park. This is ascension. Dr. Voss turned to Samantha, desperate for something, some sign of doubt, of hesitation. And what happens if we say no? Samantha's eyes softened. You won't. Silence. Then Kane raised his sidearm. I say no. The room tensed. President Park's voice was razor-sharp. Stand down, Admiral. He didn't move. Chorus met his eyes, unflinching. You already lost, Admiral. Even now, some of your people are volunteering. Some have already crossed over. Kane's heart pounded. You don't get to decide the future of humanity. Chorus' expression remained calm. No, but neither do you. The air was electric. One wrong move, one twitch of a trigger finger, and everything would descend into chaos. Then President Park made her decision. She stepped forward, meeting Chorus's gaze. You gave us an ultimatum before, but you never gave us choice. Chorus tilted his head. Choice is an illusion. A wildfire doesn't choose to burn. It spreads or it dies. Her voice was steady. Then let us decide what we become. For the first time, Chorus hesitated. A chime rang through the chamber. An incoming transmission. An emergency alert from Earth. President Park turned to the display as the screen flickered to life. The Dominion fleet had entered the Sol system. The war had already begun. The holographic display flickered, showing a real-time feed of the Dominion fleet emerging from FTL just beyond Pluto's orbit. Hundreds of warships, their angular hulls blotting out the stars, advanced information. Their weapons were powered, shields primed. This wasn't a warning. This was an execution. A cold voice crackled through the channel. Earth's defiance has gone unchecked long enough. You will surrender the Vra'thari warspawn or be eradicated. Silence filled the war chamber. Admiral Kane's expression darkened. He knew what this was, an extermination order. There would be no negotiations, no peace talks. The Dominion wasn't coming to debate. They were coming to burn Earth to cinders and erase the human wildfire before it spread any further. President Park clenched her fists. How long until they reach Earth? A military officer checked the trajectory data. For days. Maybe 3 if they push their engines. Chorus studied the display, his golden eyes scanning the Dominion fleet's formation with predatory interest. They fear you, he murmured. They always have. And now they move to strike before you can claim your destiny. President Park turned to him. You want us to stand with you? Then prove your loyalty. Send your fleets. Chorus grinned, sharp teeth glinting under the chamber's dim lights. Oh, President Park, he said smoothly, we were already on our way. A secondary display activated, revealing another armada emerging from FTL. Vra'thari warships. More than humanity had ever seen before. Sleek, black vessels, teeming with unknown technology, weapons humming with power. They had been waiting. Admiral Kane's stomach twisted. This wasn't just an alliance, it was a war machine already in motion. The Vra'thari weren't here to help humanity. They had seen the opportunity to burn down the Dominion and remake humanity in their image. He turned to President Park. You realize what's happening, don't you? This isn't just about survival. If we fight with them, we don't just win. We become them. Park's jaw tightened. And if we don't? Kane's voice was grave. Then Earth burns. The choice was no longer between alliance and war. It was between who they would be when the war ended. Chorus stepped forward, his voice smooth as silk. Decide, President Park. Will you burn alone, or will we burn the stars together? She stared at the display, watching the Dominion fleet crawl toward her home. There was no time left. President Park looked up, met Chorus's gaze, and made the decision that would change humanity forever. Deploy the fleet. 3 days later, the battle began at the edge of the Sol system. Earth's defenses, primitive compared to the galactic superpowers, were outnumbered, outgunned, but not alone. The Vra'thari warfleet, far more advanced, arrived like a storm, striking at the Dominion's flanks with brutal precision. The Dominion, confident in their superiority, had never faced an enemy that fought like this. The Vra'thari did not wage war for territory, for resources, or even for vengeance. They fought like a species awakened from a long slumber, reclaiming what had been stolen from them. And now humanity fought alongside them. Admiral Kane, aboard the UTS Titan, barked orders as the battle unfolded. Human warships, refitted with the Vra'thari's technology, struck in coordinated waves. The first Dominion battleships fell, their hulls splitting under the relentless assault. But the Dominion was vast. More ships emerged from FTL. One after another, heavier dreadnoughts entered the fray. Kane knew what was coming. If the Dominion reached Earth's orbit, they would unleash planetary bombardment. Cities would be wiped out in seconds. Billions would die. And then, something happened that no one expected. The infected humans, the ones who had taken the Vra'thari cure, began to awaken. On Earth, soldiers who had been exposed to the treatment found themselves moving faster, thinking sharper. Their instincts sharpened, their reflexes inhumanly precise. Some saw the battlefield not as chaos, but as patterns, opportunities. On-board ships, engineers who had struggled with power constraints suddenly saw solutions in real time, optimizing weapons on the fly. Pilots reacted faster than their ship's AI. The transformation was spreading. Admiral Kane saw the reports flooding in, watched his crew moving with unnatural efficiency. The Vra'thari cure, it wasn't just physical. Changed them. And then he realized, This was never about the war. This was about making humanity evolve. Was this the price of survival? The Dominion fleet advanced, their weapons priming for planetary destruction. Kane had seconds to decide. He turned to his officers. All ships, push forward. The final battle for Earth had begun. And humanity was no longer fighting to survive. They were fighting to become. The final battle for Earth erupted in a firestorm of destruction. From the bridge of the UTS Titan, Admiral Elias Kane watched the war unfold in real time. Thousands of ships filled the void, a battlefield stretching across the Sol system like an iron curtain. Earth's fate would be decided here. Dominion dreadnoughts loomed ahead, their massive hulls glowing with the energy of their superweapons. Even as human and Vra'thari ships tore into them, more arrived. The Dominion had committed their full force. They would not retreat, and neither would humanity. Kane's voice rang out across the fleet. Push forward. We hold the line. Human ships, now faster, deadlier, more than human, dove into battle. The Vra'thari augmentation was working. Crews moved in eerie synchronicity, their reactions faster than AI-assisted calculations. A new instinct had taken hold, something deeper than training, more primal than strategy. They were changing, and it was working. Dominion ships, once considered untouchable, began to fall. The battlefield shifted. Where once the Dominion had been the aggressors, now they were on the defensive. Their formations shattered under the unpredictable onslaught of human and Vra'thari forces. Chorus, aboard the Vra'thari warship Dawn Ascendant, watched with satisfaction. His voice echoed across the neural link to the fleet. Do you see it now, Admiral Kane? You are not just winning. You are ascending. But Kane wasn't celebrating, because something was wrong. Reports flooded in from every sector of the battle. Human crews were going silent. Ships were still fighting, still moving, still destroying Dominion forces, but they weren't responding. Kane slammed his fist on the console. Where's the comms blackout? Are they jamming us? A technician's voice trembled. No, sir. It's the crews. Their vitals are still active, but they're different. On screen, one of the human ships, U.T.S. Red Horizon, ripped through a Dominion battlecruiser with impossible precision. No wasted shots. No hesitation. No emotion. Kane's stomach twisted. It wasn't just enhanced reflexes anymore. It wasn't just heightened awareness. They were losing themselves. He turned to the bio-readouts of the infected humans. Brain activity had changed. Their thought patterns were synchronizing. They weren't fighting like soldiers anymore. They were fighting like something else. President Unipark stood in the command center, watching the battle unfold from orbit. At first, they had cheered, Earth's forces were winning. But now, she watched as reports came in. Soldiers, pilots, engineers, they weren't just enhanced. They were different. The battle wasn't being fought like before. There were no panicked calls for reinforcements. No uncertainty. Every move was executed with machine-like efficiency. And then the first report came in. A Dominion warship, attempting to retreat, was hunted down by 3 human vessels. They did not respond to orders. They did not let the enemy escape. Park's blood ran cold. Open a channel to Admiral Kane. A moment later, Kane's face appeared, his jaw clenched. Madam President, we have a problem. She nodded grimly. I'm seeing it. Chorus voice suddenly cut in over the secure channel. You should not be afraid. This is what you wanted. Kane's eyes narrowed. What did you do to them? Chorus smiled. We did nothing. We simply removed the chains. This is your species without limits, without doubt, without weakness. Park's voice was steel. You knew this would happen. Chorus didn't deny it. She took a slow breath. How far does this go? Chorus' smile widened. That depends. How far do you wish to go? Kane knew what came next. The Dominion fleet was crumbling. Their forces were retreating. Humanity had done the impossible. They had beaten the galactic overlords. But the cost? He looked at his own crew, his officers, his soldiers, his friends. Their eyes had changed. They felt different. And then the realization hit him like a blow to the chest. This wasn't just about winning the war. This was the birth of something new, something terrifying. Kane turned to his officers. "Send the recall order. All ships stand down." No one moved. His second-in-command, a man Kane had served with for years, turned to him with a calm, measured expression. "We are not finished." A cold dread settled over Kane. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning. And humanity wasn't humanity anymore.